It's time. Alright, we're jumping right into the main story. Immediately.
You're here! Finally!
Yes, I am.
Is something wrong?
I hope
Monsieur
so.
Violet and Lady Farina, they seem to have gotten into a dispute. Please go see for yourself.
Okay. Walk through the door.
Like I said, I've already explained everything.
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for excuses between us. It is not my intention to offend you, but please, tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson incident.
You mean... they're all...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster, and I will not have it happen again. I will say this once more. You must tell me everything you know. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson. Do you know anything about those?
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know anything about that.
Yo, take her to court.
But you found them in some ancient ruins, you say?
That's correct, which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The other 3 feature different images that seem to correlate to the prophecy.
The prophecy?
The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if confessing something. Do you know nothing of this either?
I don't. I've never seen such slates.
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information regarding the previous Archon? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for, a certain sin. If anyone would know about it, it should be you.
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing?
Yes.
I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry. I just don't have anything to tell you.
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain matters. There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on the sly. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets, as well as do nothing following your inquiries. You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you a fool.
A
And
fool.
yet, your behavior is very inconsistent.
So you've been watching me all this time, have you? I didn't think you were that type.
You...
Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know I'm actually working to take care of it. There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my lead.
You're a bitch.
Just trust in me, your Archon, and do as I say. Never mind whether you can truly convince yourself to or not. It'll all turn out fine. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this matter again. Oh, the opera's about to start. Toodles!
Toodles. I know we're in the fucking 90s, bro. Oh, there she goes.
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling. She didn't seem in the mood to care if we were listening in or not.
Oh, I forgot her vibrator.
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Yeah.
Oh, you noticed. Seems Farina didn't even realize we were here.
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again, a state of affairs that we cannot allow to continue. Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why did she keep refusing to engage?
What do you think I got the questions?
Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue is her attitude. I fear that she will not reveal anything unless absolutely forced to.
Alright, we kill her.
We may have to create a situation in which she will have no choice but to speak.
We're gonna frame this bitch? I'm all in.
Oh? Like what?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial. Perhaps we must have the Hydro Archon experience just such a scenario.
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions. How do we make sure that she won't just slip away at the first chance she gets?
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parties, and then do what we can. If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but we must prevent the prophecy from coming to pass.
Alright, let's frame
This
this
may be
bitch.
cruel to her, but all Fontaine is in crisis. The information a god possesses is too precious, and so we must take a chance on this.
Alright.
But who will lend us their aid to do such a thing?
The Fatui. Few days later, on a boat somewhere in Poisson. They missed an opportunity to name it Croissant. I'm just saying.
Well, that's everyone, huh? Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people. That naturally makes it the best choice.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most natural thing in the world, huh?
That's what family should do. Sit and enjoy a leisurely time together.
Bitch, who said that was your family? I see Vin
It's
Diesel
nice
anywhere.
to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a cup?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me? No, I don't think I can.
Then, how about you, good sir?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as somber as it is in court.
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things. Wonderful, the spotlight at last. I guess I'll be facilitating things from here.
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Yeah.
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, our friend here, the Traveler, has brought us together
Me.
to discuss something. As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts together to create a series of traps.
Time to frame.
Oh, how intriguing.
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just learned from Chlorand, and used on the spot. So, let's invite her to explain in detail. A round of applause, please.
Dude, shut the fuck up.
Didn't you say that you would be facilitating this?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice. You might even pick up some fancy oratory tricks to impress your boss with in the future.
I see. And what does my boss say?
He is glad that you consider him your boss. Do go on.
This is taking a lot longer than it should.
Do any of you have experience hunting?
Yes.
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette, oh, right. You were sick that day, weren't you?
I've also gone diving to catch some fish before. Does that count?
That is hunting.
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine once played host to a group known as the Marechaussee Hunters. Though that was their name, they did not hunt animals, but rather various monsters left behind by the ancient dynasty of King Remus. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back into society, taking up arms in other lines of work. A trap comprises of the following components: bait, a trigger, and a containment device. Sometimes a lethal implement will also be necessary to deal with the prey. So, if we were to build a trap together, right now, what would you choose to build it with?
A cat.
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits will see the bait and naturally enter the snare. Our line of work requires a deft hand, and we're some of the best in the industry, so you can count on our techniques.
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinates mentioned that you even performed some magic for the bawling children.
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the meantime. I'm quite the multitasker.
God, what does
if
it
I
have
do
to
say
do with
so
any of this?
myself.
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit. I prefer more stable methods, like placing bait in the water and waiting for the fish to come within reach. That's the kind of method I would count on.
Same.
Calm and steady. Exactly the kind of person who would catch loads of fish.
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion, I'm sure.
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some small clockwork squirrels, mice, and such. When placed in the forest, they can attract others of their kind. I remember that you liked those too, didn't you?
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it. If they're realistic enough, animals of the same kind will follow them all the way to the trap.
If we're going that route, they're not going to look realistic at all.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have any related experience.
That makes sense. You usually solve problems directly, without the use of any such tricks.
Yeah, because he's fucking Chad, dude.
But I do have one more question for you, Monsieur. If we were to create a trap now, how would you design it?
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey. A more gentle trap would be ideal.
No, we need killer.
Kind, as always. However, our intention doesn't necessarily change the containment device and the type of implement we need. If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement.
Me.
However, that also goes for prey that must be captured and safely contained.
Wait, why's that?
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it. The line that divides life and death is often exceedingly thin.
So are we going hunting together?
Huh. We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves as hunters. It kind of
What do you
works, but maybe it's still not the best metaphor.
Do you know the quest I've been on?
If our means of capturing
I
and
am
dealing
very
with
much
our
a
prey
hunter.
is to put them on trial, then the hunting metaphor is actually quite accurate. But we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a god, a being whose seat is an exalted throne.
Oh, so that's what's going on. Sounds very interesting.
Lion hunter metaphor was just that, a metaphor. You will not call this a hunt because that is not what you should present, nor the relationship between you and Farina reached such a dire stage. What you need is simply the secrets she is keeping. Attempting to take her secrets is an act of illiteracy. Go, disrespect. It must be done to prevent Fontaine from sinking into the waters as foretold by the prophecy. There is neither hunter nor prey, but there must be a trap. That is what you need. Achievement get. Where'd everyone go? Go to the base. I want to say this again. This is not a base. This is a fucking sewer.
It's been a tough few days, hasn't it? So much has been happening.
Those meetings made me parched.
Paimon didn't think the meetings would go on for so long, but everyone seemed pretty fired up, huh? Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks about it, but everyone else just looked a little surprised.
Do you feel more confident?
Well, it's hard to say. Paimon doesn't have any experience with this sort of thing. But with you around, Paimon sure will do great. After all, you're
Hope we
the
don't.
most reliable person in the world, aren't you? Huh?
Something wrong?
Did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't notice you doing that at all.
No.
Then what's that?
Piss.
Paimon's never seen that cup before.
Boiled piss.
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea.
Oh, is this Mona's
I
teacher?
Who's that voice? But there's no one here.
Aw, have you forgotten me already?
Wait, you are familiar. You're the voice we heard from the sky in Sumeru.
What?
The voice from the sky, I fear that description is wrong. Though, not completely wrong. You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. I sensed that confusion and thus came to you. Guiding people is an irresistible hobby of mine, after all.
Who are you and what do you want with us? What do you mean, who are you? Can you not tell by the way they're talking, bro?
Consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple on a whim.
Will Fontaine's prophecy be real?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesized will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
Mage N. Mage N?
What? Then is
Uh-oh.
there any way we can stop it?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Tevat so easily be changed?
There it is again, fate. What do you mean? She didn't even say fate, bro.
Ah, so you've caught on. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Are the things that you shall see different from the fate that the gods perceive?
What is she talking about? It all sounds really impressive and important and stuff, but it also sounds kind of scary.
I believe that you understand, right? Some things are insignificant, but others you must reach out to change. Ultimately, fate
There's no
shall
more tea in the
serve
cup.
as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. This was good tea, by the
The
way.
piss monster
Thank
strikes
you for your
again.
hospitality.
Taking my piss.
Well, that'll be all for today.
Bye.
The voice. It's gone.
Unexpected news leads to complicated things in life. Wake up and even died. Be reading it super fast.
I want to hear someone talking. Alright,
Shut the
hey,
fuck up.
It's you who's getting lazy, okay?
Well,
Stop
I
yelling
see
at me.
I've walked in on some lively banter.
Mona!
How's it been?
Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that Steambird panel. It turned out to be more interesting than I expected. Not all Fontainians are pessimistic about this. One journalist mentioned that sitting around and waiting for the end to come would be wrong, and that they should make their own rescue preparations. I agreed, so we had a brief chat with her.
Did she have pink hair by any chance?
Why, yes, it was Charlotte. I assume you've heard of her, no? That daredevil journalist?
She's annoying, bro.
I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important, but how can people allow their lives to be commandeered by just a few words?
That's right! Paimon's glad to hear something sensible for once.
Ah, yes. About what we had discussed before. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't reach the old hag. I'll try again tonight, but I wouldn't get your hopes up.
Someone already came.
Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She can pass us a message.
She said that even the god's gaze has blind spots. Pretty bold if you ask Paimon. Most people would believe the gods to be all-knowing, right?
No.
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her a few times. She said that N's sense of direction is incredible, and that she loves guiding those who are lost. But I've never met her, and if she were still alive, she'd be... well, suffice it to say that the hag's at least a few hundred now, and N's been around for longer than that.
Whoa. The Hexen Circle sounds like
Oh,
a
she's an
scary
actual
group.
hag.
But they must really stay in shape to live so long.
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you personally, then the problem you're facing must truly be of great importance.
Is she gonna, like, eat some kids in the middle of the night? Tempt them to their house and then just, you know, brutally murder them?
Well, it's not like
As a
Paimon could
tasty
understand
treat.
anything she said.
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still a way to turn things around. She didn't say when or what that would be, though, so perhaps it is something that you cannot know right now.
True, her words meant as a helpful hint. But when we realized their value and meaning, it was the best answer to my question I've gotten.
Traveler, Paimon, are you two all right?
I don't know, I don't really listen to that.
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little down right now. It kind of feels like the end is coming, you know?
I see.
God, I hope so.
I feel that same sense of desperation, too. I guess you could consider me someone who has often witnessed fate. So far as I have seen, it cannot be swayed. But even so, I still hope for, and believe in, miracles. Astrology is eternal and rational, but fate may not be. It is cruel, but it can also be beautiful. Perhaps that's what En was trying to tell you. Not to lose heart, and to believe that what you are seeing playing out before you is not yet set in stone.
Does this side plot have anything to do with the real plot, or is it just here to be here?
I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but I couldn't. Even if this is all futile, I still wish to help everyone. If we don't struggle to the last, then how can we face the end when it comes?
Huh. You do have a point.
There I go, talking about astrological principles again. Sorry about that. The moment I start talking about work-related stuff...
Shut up. Thank you.
It was worth trying to comfort you, even if only a little.
You did not comfort
I
me.
believe that you'll help those who are struggling in the same way I did.
I won't.
I suppose that might be why we always seem to meet by coincidence.
What do you mean? This is the first time I've ever seen you in the actual story. I think.
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. But hey, Traveler, Paimon suddenly feels like going outside for a walk. Let's go.
Go by yourself, bitch. Jesus.
Let's walk around the city, shall we?
No.
There's a few spots we always like to walk by.
What do you mean? Bruh, let me eat my fruit snacks first of all. Nom. The sound, it's reverbing. Fuck, stuck. Better actually be a chest up here, otherwise I'm gonna be pissed. Oh, fuck me. Ain't gonna make that. Hope not. Oh. Man.
Yahoo! Huh?
Still going up.
Huh?
Almost there, Billy.
Huh? Brace yourselves.
Where's his chest? Up there.
Wouldn't gliding...
Dude, how far away can these compasses find chests, dude? Oh, here it is. That was not worth it.
Exquisite.
I was right here. I do want to up the voices in this game. Hang on. Oh, that's already max. Alright, I guess we go up one then. Here.
Huh? Our names are written in this newspaper. What's going on?
Maybe we're famous.
Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued in its noble autonomy, but that does not mean that others cannot interact with it. My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Huh. Guess Charlotte still hasn't given up on that. Thus, did an Outlander friend
Who wants to
become
join
the
me?
focus of this report? A blonde adventurer with their white fairy legends
The white
trailing in their
fairy.
wake. It is said that this mysterious traveler once visited the underwater fortress. So while the fortress's interior remains a mystery behind closed doors, do not fear, for the tales of the traveler contain surprises in spades.
What do you mean it's a mystery? Just go do a crime. You'll see what it is.
Journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet. The Traveler's Trail, World Walker. Huh. Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us and we never even noticed her.
Kind of stalkerish.
She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find, she's using us as the subject matter instead?
Seems to be the case.
Ugh, seriously? Well, fine. Those headlines and photos do look cool, so Paimon will forgive her this time.
She wants pictures of Spider-Man. So what's the point of this?
We're here! Paimon's hungry. Should we go in and get something to eat?
We're gonna eat at a hotel.
Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition only 16 slices a day cake!
It hasn't been sold out.
It was so delicious the last time we tried it. Despite the tense situation we were in, let's give it another go. Paimon's sure it'll be...
One slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all. Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Nervalette was right. You really can eat.
Wait, did he really say something like that?
Hey, fat bitch.
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food. As for me, I love the cake and coffee here.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and coffee.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here anymore? What would you think?
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but maybe the waters will rise tomorrow. You know, like in the
Shut the
prophecy.
fuck up, dude.
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No, still, even if there'd be no more cake tomorrow, that wouldn't keep me from having some today. No, it's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on. That's what people call living, you know.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call being sad.
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do.
In fact, they're all
She
connected.
was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface to teach us things about humans. She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily, yes, and you can only lift their spirits by
By
feeding
fucking
them
them.
delicious food. So please try the cakes here. I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You two try to stay in a good mood after eating, all right?
I won't. Well, what the fuck was the point of this conversation?
And there she goes.
I feel like Genshin players who play this every single day, despite having like nothing to do whatsoever, like they 100% in everything, all their characters are like maxed, like maxed. They just have nothing to do, but they still fucking play it for some reason, like frothing at the mouth anytime anyone fucking speaks.
All right, let's dig in.
Seems like something
I'm
this
sure this
games
cake will be
community would do.
delicious.
I mean, as for me, I'm just like, dude, just stop with the pointless ass conversations.
It's more delicious than last time.
Get to the
And
point.
the flavor gets even better with a sip of tea. It sure would be nice if we could
Like
come
you're
again
trying to make me
tomorrow.
feel for most of these characters, and yet you give me like 20 minutes of just like trying to learn who they are and what they do. That's not enough minutes for me to really care. I'm gonna be real. The only one I'd care about so far is probably Farena and Nevelette, because I've spent probably 4 hours with them in total of going through Fontaine's story. So those characters I actually learned about and know and have a connection with. Everyone else has popped in the story for like 10 minutes and then fucked off.
Sure would be nice if we could always
And then you don't see them until like 4 months later when like this new story comes out, and then they again appear for 5 minutes and then leave. Is there a chest here? I don't know. I'll never know.
Oh, we're near the Steambird office. Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
Hey, what's going on to you, Charlotte?
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon!
It's me.
Have you seen the article I wrote about you?
Ha! You've got some nerve. You just used us to make some quick mora.
Can I negotiate a profit split?
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It appears you didn't receive it, though. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some food.
Dude, 2 coin.
Really?
Well, you're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with ulterior motives, you'd be in trouble now.
What happened to the audio there?
Oh, Paimon knows you're not like that.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you looking for me?
No.
A friend of ours met you a while back. Name's Mona.
I see what's happening with the audio. Don't. Go away.
Ah, so you know Miss Mona as well.
Pepper.
She's a guest columnist for our paper.
I look
Really
down to
good
my
one, too.
see my cat
She's
messing with the
so
wires
young
of my
and already
computer.
Such a brilliant astrologist. So she mentioned me? What did she say?
She said that you're a real daredevil of a journalist.
Pepper, no. Go.
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to request an exclusive interview with the legendary Traveler and
I should
Paimon?
like box off my PC.
Huh? So your article in the paper today doesn't count?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper and ask you to talk about the things you've seen and experienced.
You want to interview me?
Yeah, are we even qualified enough?
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're worth it. But not right now, of course. I'll need a few days to prepare.
Oh, in that case, we'll just chat when you have the time then?
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief immediately. I'll have to apply for lighting, a venue, some props, and... Whew, so much to get done now. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just
Oh
for
my God.
example, Fontaine were to be flooded tomorrow, what would you do today?
Probably report it.
Huh. That's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it often, but I've never once thought that the day could be tomorrow. If you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. And secondly, I wouldn't forsake my homeland that easily. From what I've seen, most people
I
don't
would,
know what they
100%.
do should the worst come to pass. In truth, it might be better just to behave like normal rather than worry over such an end. So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know what you're thinking. That sounds a bit sad, but I've always believed that it's best to do what you enjoy. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still successfully finish an exclusive interview with a truly unique person, then the story I would wind up writing would truly be timeless.
And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get copies out to the various nations as soon as possible. I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic, but I
Well, are
do
you an
love my
alcoholic?
job, and I'd be proud of leaving such an article behind. I guess you could say that I was born to be a journalist. But anyway, that's my answer. And on that note, I'll get back to my preparations.
I feel like I definitely should be listening to all this because it's probably going to show up in the court case, but I don't care enough.
That's so nice. All of a sudden, Paimon actually kinda envies her. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we?
Oh my god. Why are we doing this? Oh, at least it's teleporting me there.
The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh?
Nope.
Paimon's been thinking.
I don't care what you think.
If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would we go and what would we do?
Oh, we'd probably die.
No, Paimon should ask, if you could choose, what would you like to do?
If I could choose, huh? Only trying to consider what to do is pointless.
We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. We didn't have to either, with us always being on the road and whatnot.
I'll keep moving.
You mean, still traveling?
Yeah.
Huh. Wait, isn't that what we've always been doing?
The banner goes back and forth between you two as time slips by. As night falls, you return accommodations and end the busy day. What was the point of this? The next few days are just as calm. Charlotte comes to find you, conducts an interview in the spin of the Rosetta safe house at Nadia, having finished her business, and Passant even drops by to take a photo with the two of you. All goes well. What was the point of all that? What was the point of all that?
Feels like you'll grow mold if you stay here long enough. But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure. It's not only damp there, but salty too.
I wonder why.
Ah, so the two of you are still here. Wonderful.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the Fortress of Meropide.
It's not an impression that you might think we're wanted criminals.
Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, I'm here to pass along a message from him.
Let's hear it.
Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the incident a small-scale riot.
That's so hype. Can we join?
A riot?
Well, that said, I don't personally think it was that serious. Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting during an intermission, some other audience members suddenly started harassing her.
That's so hype.
Loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis.
That's, you know what? That seems about right for a woman.
And before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure they've been under due to the prophecy.
I agree.
It's a joke, guys. Don't worry.
People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the moment people feel threatened, gods are also the first to be blamed.
I mean, rightfully so. They're the people who are in charge of the whole nation. If something happens to the nation, the first thing you do is go to the god and be like, yo, what's happening right now?
So what happened after that? Is Farina okay?
Gotta hope she's not.
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that she'd gotten tired of this and left in a hurry. The Maréchaussée Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone. Only when things had stabilized did we realize that she had gone missing.
So, you mean she's still missing?
That's right. The Maréchaussée has dispatched many people to search for her, but we don't have any leads yet.
I guarantee you I'll find her. Give me like 10 minutes, I'll find her.
That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what could ordinary people do to her?
Considering how an ordinary person almost fucking killed her, like, without lifting a finger, I'm gonna say a lot.
Good.
You should have,
Monsieur
too.
Nervillet sent me to tell you about the situation, but he didn't say anything else.
Don't worry, this is more than enough to go on. Thanks for keeping up.
Is that so? Well, all right then. In that case, you two take care. I'll be heading back to the Palais now.
Alright, let's find this bitch. But she's just hiding in the opera house.
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, she'll look for a place to wait out the heat. And as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic, but she doesn't have a heart of stone. When Nervillet was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about Poisson, she couldn't hide her sadness and remorse. It would be hard for her to ignore being accused by the public today. Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to Poisson and try to relieve the sense of guilt that she's feeling. Huh. Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the analysis.
I
and
hate
wrap
you.
it up. In that case, there's not a moment to lose. Poisson, here we come.
Legal advisor. Only legal advisor I need is Saul Goodman.
Ad Astra. Thank you for
This place looks deserted.
Just-
Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation.
All the survivors
Could
definitely
Farina
left.
really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
She's right there. Slash me. Dude, I want to change the cursor in this game to like the fucking pointing finger PNG. I want to do it. Can I do that? Is that against TOS? Will I get banned from this game?
That's Farina.
I,
Right over there.
I wanted to be the pointing finger. It's right there. I'll be hype. Stay quiet.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless. What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
No, it ain't working. Why? It crashed. Oh, it's because my cat was fucking with it. God damn it. You fucking kidding me, bro? Hang on. There we go. Act like I did that like an hour ago. Well, now it's gonna take me a minute to recrop this. God damn it. Fucking cat, dude. Skirt. I was gonna do a bit. My cat fucked it up.
Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry. But what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over?
Billy.
Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina. It's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects. Come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember.
The cum
show at
stains.
the Opera House earlier this morning was so moving.
I had a bukkake
I'm
before
still
coming here.
trying to
They're not
process
tears.
it. Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were, disturbing my enjoyment of the arts? They even dare to tout their Archon. I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere to be found. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Maréchaussée Phantom are freaking out right next to them, too.
You whiny ass bitch.
Of course not.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
They found her.
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in person, aren't they? That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
You just run.
Farina just ran off. Quick, we have to catch up with her.
I'm obviously faster than her. Man, this intense fucking running sequence, bro. Where'd they go? They're behind, only not behind these crates.
This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
What is this place?
Hurry, they're almost here.
How'd I get up here so fast?
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
Oh my god, for once the inside of a house is like properly scaled. Eh.
Paimon's exhausted.
But now we're in a metal box. With only one way out.
I'm so tired. I totally thought they had caught me. No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
This place is not what I called soundproof. You might want to lower your voice.
You're right.
Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening? The ground's shaking. Is it an earthquake?
A distractor. Disaster.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be. It's happening again.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Nouvellette's made some emergency plans, so the evacuation should go a lot smoother this time.
Yeah, I hope you're right. But the people of Poisson, they've already...
Has Farina finally reached her limit? Now that she's talking about her actual feelings, she's starting to feel far less stiff. You begin to talk amongst yourselves as Farina slowly calms down.
It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time. We cannot make an enemy of the divine, No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled.
But even then, you still haven't given up, right?
Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally coming to terms with fate, but also for me to finally be free.
But that would also mean that hope would disappear.
Indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times, especially after we almost lost Poisson. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just started to come true, and so many people have already lost their lives. But just now, it all became clear to me. I still don't have the right to come to terms with fate on behalf of everyone else. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end.
Yeah.
Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all. Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
Oh, she 100% was. Running out of time, we can't go back to square one like this. I have to get more information out of her. You might not have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone, your people are more than willing to share your burden with you. Bleh.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
Even your burden doesn't need to be shared. You can still choose to confide in someone. Confide in someone? Just share it with me. I'm what you call a witness.
A witness? Yes. I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here.
Nope.
And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you?
Yep.
If that's the case...
Time left, please, for us to spit it out. Cutscene? Yep. Oh, I see. This is the trap. It took me a minute to realize it.
This concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial?
Yeah.
In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god?
Yes.
I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
'Cause she's a bitch.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning of this?
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
They are all perfectly still. Besides this guy standing up. Like, they are all just 100% still.
Looking for
They're looking
excuses again, huh?
straight forward too. They're not looking at her.
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed in myself. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice! This time, I will protect you.
In the trailer, she got the death penalty.
Applaud
Sorry to spoil it,
and
but it was literally in the
rejoice.
trailer.
One of the most outrageous
So it
and
was spoiled for me,
fantastical
too.
arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes.
Don't let me, dude. I have 40. I don't think I have time to
Mark my
debate this.
words.
Please don't let me do this immediately.
Shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon,
Oh, fuck.
Focalor, will now begin.
I got 40 minutes to beat this trial.
Oh, now we're making history.
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crimes? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time, right?
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
Me.
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tivat, my accuser and fated opponent.
We were so close to getting her to tell the truth, and she turned out in the end like this in the end. Okay though, as long as I can defeat her in court, we'll still have the chance to fight everything out, figure everything out. Court is in session.
Please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins. Just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
I don't know.
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean, the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontainian history.
Yeah, how'd you pull that off?
And that's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epicles,
Did you just dig a fucking big-ass tunnel?
the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Areneas. Its cargo, of course.
So they dug out a whole tunnel.
Was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the
I see.
Heart spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
We deceived you back there.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I right?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
Thank you.
I would too, dude. Fuck this
As
bitch.
for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson. You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
Nope.
Oh?
My mission was to give you one last chance. We hope that you'd share your secret with us before the magic box arrived on the stage.
Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance.
She's fucked.
It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done.
She's like, oh shit. It just fucking dawned on her.
The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Yeah, the only thing we can do now is judge the Hydro Archon. So I can't help but be a little bothered by the conversation we had earlier. What did Farina want to say to me right before we arrived on stage?
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceedings.
Very good.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte! Oh, let Paimon see. Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us before? Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened ever since we stepped foot in Fontaine! So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument!
It's a great gift.
Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
Oh my god, they're actually doing a fucking recap.
Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right. I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. I guess you could also see this as a happy coincidence. This is the first time Monsieur Nervilette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out. A Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something. The fortress of Meripede was almost destroyed in a single day. That I didn't witness that scene personally will always be a source of professional regret, I think. According to Monsieur Neuvillette, both child and that whale should have been in the primordial sea at that time. I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers. The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Neuvillette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this. Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon.
I'm talking.
Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
Charge accepted.
Forget it, let me skip ahead.
Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah, even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
How about you let me tell you, you bitch?
I have
Coming to
cause
conclusions
to believe
before they
that
even,
common
like,
sense will
hear me
prevail in
out.
this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything that's happened as a dramatic spectacle and move on with our lives. What do you say to that?
That's bullshit. That's what I say to that. Because you always love charging people with false accusations ever since I came into Fontaine. Why is this one the exception?
Huh. An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
People only see you as their Archon because that's their long-headed belief.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender.
I tried to give you this chance. You almost did.
Let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am?
A puppet.
And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
Same way that Hida did. You gotta think carefully about what's special about Farina exactly. The meeting with the Knave. Because the Knave didn't kill her. Because she believed she couldn't possibly be the Archon. I remember that scene very well.
You may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, Even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
A curse.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
Doesn't matter who gave us the information. What matters is the... I know what that word is. I can't pronounce it. Of the claim.
A
Courtesy.
curse. I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
You sensed it too, huh, Neverlet?
So, Farina, instead of an Archon, could you just be a cursed human?
Lady Farina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them.
That is fact.
It's not impossible.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the endemitium that is used in every aspect of life.
Wait, the one trial proved the opposite. Farina actually has no control over the Orchis at all. Yeah, the one with the child's conviction.
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
Get fucked.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
What are you talking about?
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
Sure, we can put the Orchis aside for now, but then, Miss Farina, can you give us a brief demonstration of your power as an Archon?
My power as an Archon? There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
Venti was able to do it with a group of people. Rex Lapis was able to do it with a group of people. A was able to do it with a group of people. Nahida was able to do it in a group of people. I think you're fine.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Brief demonstration of your power over Hydro should be quite harmless. Surely an Archon can at least match the capabilities of a human with a vision.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
That makes sense. There really is no vision on her, nor Mark deciding that, you know, she is a god. That's what I've noticed the moment I saw her, like, her model. I've always, like, if you look at, like, every other Hydra or, like, Archon, there is some, like, way you can tell that they do have the vision. You know, A has it on her back, Venti has it on his hands, Rex Lapis also has it on his back. Nahida, I believe, has it, like, on her shoulder or something. I never noticed, like, the Hydro symbol anywhere on her model.
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium!
The fuck is Indemnitium?
Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Oh, that's the electricity of this world. That's right.
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
There's like 4 other gods that did that. I bet you she just got her fucking chess piece
Seems
stolen,
like
dude.
nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me? Please? You've got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
I saw the prophecy, never let Soul it, and even I can't remember her Geo Mommy. She saw it too. She was there.
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? Seems like
What do you
she
mean?
really
I just
doesn't
figured it
wanna
out.
give up.
If we can't prove that she isn't the Archon, we can try to prove that she's a human, and if she's only human. Well, I just explained it. Irrelevant. Yeah, that's what I thought. I want to say it's Nahida falling. Murderous case unfolded. Though they were not clear accusation against him, the identity as in the house. It could be this one. I want to say it's when. Let me read this one. What was the evidence that can prove that Farina is human? Well, be this, right? Because a god would just know who it is immediately as well. This feels like irrelevant. Let's see with this one first.
That doesn't.
Okay, no, I didn't think so. Okay. We're gonna try my second acquisition, this one then. That one's right, yep. Go with that one first then.
Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Kill yourself.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rosula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
What if she isn't Fontanian? Answer is yes. She's not Fontaine. She's not from Fontaine. Farina?
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it. That could only mean...
What's going on? Is she really planning to... that's not what we thought she would...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
Hey!
She actually...
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewin? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. Let me see. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewin.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Okay, so they didn't... like, isn't pure primordial seawater.
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
It was dumbed down.
What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved! Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Did you not just listen to the man?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Farina could have...
I can't believe... you...
What's really going on here? Farina can't have not known the consequence of touching the water as a human. This is too unlike how she usually acts, unless there's actually more important. It's more important for her to keep up a facade to save her own life. But hadn't she given up on everything a long time ago?
Listen to me! Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks! What happened just now didn't prove a single thing! Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water?
Dude, the voice actor is fucking killing it as Farina. However, the microphone is shit.
Everyone,
Stop popping.
anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
I believe that she is our Archon, but she lost her powers.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Farina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
The Void.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Farina is...
death.
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
It can't be. Did Origis just declare Farina to be innocent?
No. The Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty to be punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth. How did things escalate this quickly?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Vacher wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearance.
Yeah, that personally murdering woman. More strange is instead of Farina, the Oratrice rendered a judgment on the Hydro Archon.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
I'm going with my theory that she lost her powers a while ago because of the prophecy.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! Huh, you finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
With some help in the other Fatui, Fremine brings a stone slate. Oh, they found the last one.
Prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water. But has the trial already concluded? Then doesn't that mean I've come too late? Oh no. Father will be disappointed in me.
Oh, and the mystery still hasn't been resolved. It's still not too late.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates, and would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
This looks like the previous Hydro Archon, releasing her divine powers, turned Oceans into human beings.
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kinda talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Association between the content of the slate and the events of real life.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates. Paimon will do her best to help you remember.
Oh my god, dude, I don't have time for this. And I can't just stop. That's the worst part about it.
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans. Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. But if Oceanids can turn into humans, then perhaps this process can be reversed as well. The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontainians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing? The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and so on. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we? But after that incident, it was just a question of when and not if.
It seems to show only the former Archon using her divine power to turn people into Oceanics.
That doesn't sound quite right.
Why not?
Let's think about this. That doesn't sound...
I don't have time to, like, fucking really read this shit.
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontainians can be dissolved in primordial seawater. This might be the reason that Fontaine...
Alright, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to actually skip all that, but... It just shows Celestia floating in the sky and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together, but the heavens still brought down judgment.
perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervalette mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates.
It shows that a Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by people.
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment.
God damn it. I keep accidentally skipping it, but it's going by itself. I'm not used to that. It shows a scene of this, that is basically identical to describe the prophecy. Throughout Fontaine will eventually never resolve and...
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontainians to dissolve. It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy may come true. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an Oceanid. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads of truths should come to light.
Verification complete.
Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! So that's how you can make sense of it. But then it feels like we're going to have to share some truly shocking revelations.
Let's hear them.
The Fontaines are not real humans.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
All Fontainians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontainians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Second state reveals the crown of the Hydro Archon was her creation of Fontainians from Oceania.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
I'm so convinced that this should come after the fourth.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, While you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed of the unadulterated truth.
This has literally been an hour of talking.
Well? Did you get it?
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro in the Fontaine of Old.
I'm sorry, I gotta skip
previous
forward.
Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Ocean.
That's way too much information for me. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro...
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the 3rd and 4th stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct.
I'm Googling something real quick. It's gonna suck. I'm gonna have to restart that whole story. I have to go. I have to go to work. Y'all actually hit the follow button. I'll be back tonight. I will finish this tonight because I won't be able to do it tomorrow. Anyway, that's about it. See you. Sorry to end up abruptly, but I have to go. That took so long.